Mr. TeeKay.
To tender.
Look, it's the race that ruined Red Bull's chances of anything last year. However, we have to start somewhere.
I have to stop you there. What do you mean this ruined our chances? This is where we won.
Yeah,
This
it
solidified
did,
everything.
you're right, it did. However, both drivers didn't cross the line. So
Oh, you're still stuck on last race. Minor blip. I don't think that's anything to be concerned about. Let's talk about this race, the
but
Japanese
before we
Grand
do
Prix.
that, let's reintroduce ourselves. So you first. As the
So-
co-host, as the forever co-host now, because Ben's otherwise occupied in some battery drain videos and some stuff we need to do for the other channel.
Let's let him be. So, this is TK from Lover of Cars, Lover of Tech, and Lover of many things. And I am here to talk about the race. And as the co-host, I am with...
You have TC. It's bittersweet for me. Always. When it comes to speaking to you, there's always something. However, I'm TC from Lover of Cars, Lover of Tech Media Team, and I'll be stuck with him for the rest of the season by the looks of things. Or at least for the next 5 races up until Ben comes back off his annual leave. So for the audience, you're stuck with me and him.
You are welcome. So, Chidi, tell me, what are your thoughts on this race? Looking forward to it?
What?
How are you feeling?
Do you know what? I don't actually know, because we were having a chat before this, and if we base it on what happened last year, we're in for a treat. Like, we are in for what's meant to be the best race of the year, because 2023 season, this race was on the back end of the racing season, and the way the calendar shifted, it's now the front end of the season. This was a deciding race last year that gave Red Bull the Constructors' Championship, which I'm still angry about. However, where they've put it based on seasons and weather, this has to be, again, the deciding race of what happens now, if you know what I mean. Because if you think in the Southern Hemisphere or Southeastern Hemisphere, the weather is bad now. Last year, the weather was great then. So are we going to see different tire selections? Are we actually going to see how Red Bull react? Because last year, Perez didn't finish. This year, well, if we go in 2024 races, based on the last race, the champion didn't finish either. So are we sat here thinking there's 2 Red Bull drivers that are under immense pressure? One that didn't finish the last race, one that didn't finish the same race last year. I don't know. I mean, what's your thoughts? Because for me, I know ideally in my head, based on what I saw last year, I don't want a repeat of last year. Based on Verstappen winning, McLaren being that race, McLaren got everything they needed. I think we're in for a treat. Genuinely in for a treat for this race.
So I'll be honest, this is not my favorite track. I never have liked this track. Back from when I was gaming, it's just not my cup of tea. But most of that is because I was a terrible gamer and I always crashed out. It's a complicated track. Track itself is long. It's 1.5 minutes. And first lap of last year of the 2023 race tells you everything you need to know about this. It's gonna get messy. we had a huge shunt. I think Bottas actually ended up retiring from that race.
He retired on lap 2, but and again, when you re-watch it, because me and you have been having different conversations, when I re-watched that, it wasn't his fault.
Yes, it wasn't.
However,
Not 100% sure who took him out, but with the way Perez was driving, highly likely he was the one to knock him out, because Perez decided that day that he was driving bumper cars and not Formula One, not the driver that was recruited by Red Bull.
and you know what? The one thing I hate doing more than agreeing with Ben is agreeing with you, because that race on the calendar always throws a curveball. You either get a crash or the weather's terrible. And in 2023, there were many crashes, which is worse than that's probably the best wheel-to-wheel race I watched all last year. Okay, Bottas got taken out lap 1. You had Carlos Sainz racing his own teammate,
Lewis Hamilton and George. This is the race which has now become very legendary, because this is where George decided to overtake Lewis first and challenge him, and then when Lewis tried to overtake him back, he decided to shout, "Are we gonna race each other, or are we gonna race everyone else?" This was the beginning where we actually started to see those arms come out for the Mercedes team, and they realized that, oh, you know what, we might actually have a problem between these two. But
they have a problem. They do have a problem. It's the master and the apprentice teaching each other how to win races, and neither of them are winning races.
Well, fortunately for them, that has been solved. We no longer need to worry about that.
I mean, they had last year's tractor, which was a tractor all season. This year is now a combine harvester, because that thing is not winning anything anytime soon. I had to figure out how that came out, but that tractor combine harvester is not winning anything anytime soon. So we had a crash in lap 1, which I hope there will be a crash this year as well. Thankfully, not the same drivers, because if you look at the current standing, I genuinely think I know who's going to crash first, and you don't need a mastermind to figure out. I think it would be
by any chance
that will crash first.
No, by any chance, I was gonna say, is this the guy who was upside down when the last race ended?
No. I think they sent him the bill, and he would have been like, no. I think it would be Alpine at the moment, because Alpine, for the Drive to Survive viewers of our channel, I think anyone that's watched the last season of Drive to Survive will always look at Alpine as that team. And don't get me wrong, what they do is brilliant. However, their car this year is terrible.
I don't know about brilliant.
Okay, as a mid-table team, let me rephrase it. Mid-table, they're brilliant.
I think they're gonna tumble further down than that.
Yeah, but look at the last 3 races. Look where they sat. Look where they were last year. And last year, when, again, for the Drive to Survive crowd, that is where they got most of the snippets from, because that's the only race where each team kind of raced wheel to wheel. So if I was a team principal right now and I was reflecting on last year, I'll be in a horrible place if I was Haas, Alpine, Ferrari, Mercedes, even Christian to a certain extent, because whilst he got the title for constructors, he did not get both of his drivers over the line. And you then add, so you've had 5, you then add, that's the same time Helmut said what he said, or around about that period of time where he was being very controversial. So there was low morale within the camps at Red Bull. However, they've got 2 competent drivers, somewhat. They've got one that's rumored to go elsewhere, then they've got one that's out of contract. So do you think that we will get let me word this correctly, because I don't want to look smug at the end of this weekend. Do you think on Sunday we are going to get the same result in lineup?
No, because Perez didn't finish, and I actually think this time Perez will finish.
What makes you say that?
Perez didn't finish because of an accident. They had
What makes
to
you think he'll
retire
finish
the
this
car.
time?
I
Right?
think after he rammed a couple of drivers off the track, they decided that the car was actually too damaged for it to carry on, and they brought him into the pit so that he could retire. But
Okay.
that was because, correct me if I'm wrong, but I seem to remember that was because of a terrible qualifying, and he ended up starting from further back around 10.
Yeah.
And he was trying to do his miracle thing, his Sunday driver, Sunday recovery thing, and that wasn't going pretty well.
But you have to think, when you look at the other, the rest of what Perez does as a driver, the guy's amazing. Like I can't hang on, sorry. I can't fault him for what he does.
I think the pedigree between Max Verstappen and Perez is too different. There is too much of a gap in between.
But there isn't.
Max is really ridiculously good. He is a racing machine, that we have not seen in the sport. And Perez is on the, I can race if you give me a car that can do it, but that consistency is missing. When you look at Bottas and Lewis, I know Mercedes fans, this is where they will actually start to throw all sorts at me. Lewis is good, I do not deny that, but Lewis in the same car with Valtteri Bottas had the consistency. If Lewis was first, Bottas would be second.
But team orders. This is where I always say to anyone, and again, me, you, and Ben are quite lucky because we're passionate racing fans in the sense that we all follow different teams. My biggest beef with the last 3 years of racing has been they took a rookie who had zero racing IQ, flew into world champion. He hasn't had any racing IQ across the board. However, he's been partnered up with people that have allowed him to keep being a maverick. So my beef then becomes null and volified, because when you think there's someone that is consistently quicker, will take risks, and becomes that person that your team gets paid on, why would you not? That happened at Mercedes with Hamilton and Bottas. Hamilton took all the risks. Bottas was told team orders, swap positions, even if he had the quicker car, and he'll defend. Can I see that happening with Perez and Verstappen? No, because I think Perez now, in the position that he's in, when Perez started in Formula One, Verstappen was still in karting. So you have to think there's so much difference in how they look at racing. Then you have to look at people like us.
Max doesn't need to know how to race, how to overtake. My guy is always qualifying first. Who do you overtake if you start first?
Yeah, but what happens when you got the faster car? You will always qualify first.
If you can drive the car fast. It's not the car alone. Think about it.
It's the car.
When Lewis was winning, all I heard from Mercedes fans was, it's the guy, not the car.
Okay, how many
Remember they had the DAS. How many what?
How many Mercedes fans do you know?
Quite
Not
a lot.
Lewis Hamilton fans. No, not Lewis Hamilton fans. Mercedes, Petronas, AMG, F1 team fans. Do you know? See, I had to say the whole name.
See, that's about to be actually very easy to track, because all we have to do is track how many people are gonna stop wearing those Mercedes hoodies and they're gonna switch to red next year. So how about we
How
save
many
that
do you know
question for
right
next week?
now? Because I know one. No, sorry, two.
That's interesting.
No one knows any.
You cannot. It's difficult to distinguish between the two because people
only-
were the merchandise because
How-
of the drivers.
Yeah.
It'll be
However,
interesting to
you're
see
not
how
wearing
their
your
sales go.
merchandise.
Pardon?
You're not wearing your merchandise.
Yeah, I didn't want you to feel bad.
For what? You lost the last race.
What do you mean we lost?
I mean, did you win?
We are still leading the constructors. Bigger picture.
Doesn't matter. There's
This
no.
is bigger picture, not the small picture.
You're doing it again. It's not so. You know what? Let me lead you back to what we were saying. So, we get to a point now where the races have been flipped over.
Yeah. Developments have
fan?
not really. Developments have not happened yet.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of this race being so early in the season. But again, if you look at how the crow flies, it makes sense this race being this early, because if you're starting off in the UAE, then you're going to Australia. Naturally, the way back is that way.
Because it's good for the environment.
The weather's worse because of the seasons there. And this brings us to another thing. And F1 silly season has started so early that it's so annoying that I usually wait till May, June to talk about what's happening here. We've got, according to the rumors, we have 2 Japanese drivers driving in Suzuka. Like, has that ever happened? It hasn't happened since I've been an F1 fan.
So this is gonna be an interesting. It's funny you mentioned silly season. I was actually thinking earlier that Carlos hadn't even begun his stretches to prepare for silly season, and then he found out that Lewis was gonna be getting his seat for 2024 or 2025.
That was fantastically, because like Ben and I want to speak for Ben because Ben loves Lewis Hamilton. If Lewis Hamilton decided today that everyone had to wear bin bags, Ben will wear bin bags. I'm telling you now. Ben's the biggest Lewis Hamilton fan ever. But when you talk about Perez was blindsided. I think Carlos Sainz knew. He had to have known. He had to have known.
That Lewis was taking his seat.
Yeah, he had to have known.
Do you think if Carlos had come from Ferrari Academy, the racing academy, it will be a different story for him right now?
No, because I think what people forget about Ferrari Racing Academy is very cutthroat. How many drivers have actually come through the ranks of Ferrari Academy and are still on the grid? Not many. Because Ferrari are very good at poaching drivers from other racing academies that makes sense. And it's happened year in year and year and year. I even posted something on our Instagram today about Verstappen Alonso beating every generation of Schumacher. I think Ferrari are now going through this phase where Carlos Sainz's dad was a Ferrari driver at one point. However, Red Bull alliances. Gilles Bianchi. Just think, every driver that drives for Ferrari has an alliance to the team somehow. However, where do they go and get the drivers from? It's either the Mercedes-Benz Academy, Petronas Academy, or they come from Red Bull, or back then, they'd have been McLaren or whatever team was behind the scenes, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So when I see what you've posted, Perez was blindsided. And you know what? As much as I dislike Red Bull as a team, Perez deserves a good seat. Just for the sake of me, TeeKay, and Ben, Perez needs to be in a faster car. But
Faster than the car that has won the last 3 titles.
okay, one of the cars didn't finish last time, so don't try me about the car 3 titles. You're only as good as your last race. One DNF'd. Where's the other one left?
You see, this is the thing. You see, I don't think you're a racer. You do not have the racing mentality. You're not as good as your last race.
We are,
It's a reset button.
but it's not.
This car has been reliable, and it's actually done 2 years without a retirement. It's the same people who made the car.
What happens when he leaves? What happens when Andrew Newman leaves? And we're talking silly season. Forget the drivers for the next 15 seconds. What happens when Andrew Newman goes to Aston Martin? He's been given a blank check, according to the rumors. We have to say, according to the rumors, he's been given a blank check. Then what? Is Verstappen going to follow him?
Isn't Andrew Newman something like 75? This guy's close to retirement. He will not go to Aston Martin.
He's the only reason why they've been successful.
Agreed. It's more of a Newman thing than a driver thing. But
Yep.
take this into account. So what do we have? We have Newman moves to whatever team he goes to for 2025. In the first year, you have to keep in mind the car has already been made. He's literally arriving there, and the car has already been made, which gives him another full year for him to develop the car that comes next.
Yep.
That's 2 years before he actually gets another constructors.
Yeah, but you have to think before, and you know what? You make that valid point of the gap. So, for those who don't understand F1, so the teams that rank lower in the Constructors' Champion get more wind tunnel time. Red Bull, being the champions consecutively, they get less wind tunnel time, but that means they can carry more stuff over. If you then think Andrew is going to sit there with what's going on right now, because I don't think Andrew would leave Red Bull openly. But again, we talk silly season. There's a lot of rumors flying around. If this man goes to Aston Martin, and bear in mind, Aston Martin are the B team for Mercedes, they share wind tunnel time. Like, why, as a team owner, forget Andrew Newman as a person right now, because electrification comes in 2026. So you know that as things change for next year, things are changing for the year after. So if we talk what happens 2026, those cars in production now. So whoever moves won't get a touch till 2027 because everything changes.
And that exactly is the reason why I think it'll be a terrible move for Adrian to move anywhere else. So in our silly season, let's look at who's actually where. So Perez, his contract ends. Alonso, his contract ends. Fortunately, you've got the Norris and Piastri combination. They are still within contract. You've got
what?
Yeah.
I think that's going to be shook up this year because the rookie is actually doing really, really well. However, where he lands will depend on the rest of those crosses we've got put on there.
You reckon Piastri? You mean Piastri?
Yeah, Lando Norris, if he leaves McLaren this year or next year, let's put it. So if he leaves McLaren this season or next season, the only way for him is up. There's only 3 teams above them technically right now.
I don't see Lando
if
leaving.
he goes down, so he's going to stay. Piastri is young enough and he's not had enough time within his stature in F1 for it to make sense. But you got Albon. How many times has Albon been sidelined? Because when you talk Williams, I look at British racing pedigree. Albon was once a Red Bull driver.
I keep
And he
forgetting this. I keep
and he
forgetting that. And
failed miserably.
every time I see him on track in that Williams pushing it to the limits, I think to myself, this guy deserves a better car. Then I remember that, oh, hang on a minute.
He did it.
You had a better car.
He did it. Who else did it? Pierre Gasly. They both did it, and they failed miserably.
It's
So
the curse
for me-
of the seat.
It's not the curse of the seat. I think so Albon, actually, you know what? I'll go as far as saying Albon will re-sign for Williams. He's now he's been the senior driver. He's been the senior driver for a few years now. Logan Sargent, he's now coming into his own.
You might have actually forgotten that Logan Sargent didn't race last weekend, so you might actually just have nothing negative to say about him. But
Yeah,
he
but
is
if you
also
go-
still very new. 0 points. Is he not the 21st? If we look at our driver standing and current constructors list, is he not on number 21?
Don't worry, he's the new Nicholas Latifi. We've got him. We have a new name for him. Nicholas Latifi has come through in a different face.
This is exactly how we're gonna win the championship this year, I guess.
But if you think, like, genuinely, like this one upsets me the most. Like, Williams upsets me the most because when you look at pedigree for racing and you talk about everything racing, that's the team you kind of look for and you think they've done it. But then I'll take the next line. Bottas and Joe like Bottas for me, as much as he was the best second fiddle to Lewis Hamilton, I think if he sees out another season, like I think Bottas is holding out to electrification, then he'll go to IndyCar racing or he'll do something, because for him, if he was as competitive as we think he is, he will be punching. Last year Suzuka, he DNF'd. What did he do in
But
Australia?
that wasn't his fault. He got hit. I
Yeah,
think
but
by
what did he
Sergio.
do in Australia? Okay, forget what he did last year then.
In
What
Australia,
did he do in Australia?
he had a very long pit stop. I think something around the 40-second mark. I think he was trying to beat his minute and a half. I still reckon Bottas has a couple of records to beat. That Mercedes pit stop, which was a day and a half, I think he can do better.
Yeah, but you have to think.
Quick Sauber.
Do you not think, as long as me and you have known each other most of our life, do you not think Bottas has a Kimi Raikkonen thing about him?
I almost say this. I get it. I actually see it. He has taken his racing to that. I do it as a hobby state. I think the guy just wants to go and cycle. He should just focus on his cycling and leave the racing to people who are
So
serious
we've got-
about it.
So got Bottas that might be out of the seat, definitely. I always forget how to pronounce his name. Joe Guan Yu.
Zhou Guan Yu.
I think he's had a tough time. So him, Sargent, and Lawson have had a really tough time in F1. Partly because they represent their respective nations, so there's a lot more pressure when they get into a car, and us as fans, we expect these people to perform. So they're not even out. They're stake F1 team. I keep looking at so the stake F1 team. So if I was someone at stake F1 team and I was looking at my driver lineup, sponsors have to come in anyway, which is fair. Sponsors come in all day long. Joe Guan Yu will bring in sponsors from the South Asian market. However, has he scored points? No. Has he been close to scoring points? Yes. Does he make it through qualifying? Yes. So will Joe Guan Yu be, and again, I'm going to throw a curveball, and you know what, I wish Ben was on this stream because Ben loves this kid. Would Zhou Guanyu be a better fit for Williams or for Haas? You have to think Haas have had, and we'll get to Haas in a second. Like they've had the worst luck with Nicky Mazepin, then Gunter leaving. Like, bring back Gunter. I'm gonna start a GoFundMe to bring back that man because that man
He's
made
back.
Formula One work. Yeah, but he's back. He's not back as team principal. Like he's back. He's back like we are.
He's back as a presenter. Those who
He's
cannot
back like
do
we
will
are.
critic. We will critic.
So where do
But-
you think these two is? Like,
So I think Joe Bottas, I think it's time for him to leave. But this is the perfect time as his contract ends. He goes somewhere else, bike riding, horse riding, wherever he goes. Joe, I keep forgetting that he actually exists. Ever since 2022 Silverstone, I haven't seen him stand out. I haven't seen him do anything amazing.
he's low table.
Yeah, and
We ignore the other bit. That bit we'll leave that till last because that's the cream of the cake. That's the cherry on the cake. What about the French team? Because that's a volatile relationship.
it's volatile. Yes, I agree. Gasly might be the one to actually leave. I know he's just literally just arrived. He might be the one to leave. Ocon will definitely not be taken by anyone else because Ocon is volatile. Wherever he is, whoever he's teamed up with, they always clash. For that reason, I don't think anyone else who's not a French team will take him.
He's the first person he's the first person on Drive to Survive that we saw that clashed with Alonso.
And
don't get me wrong,
how?
I can think of many reasons why anyone
no.
would clash with Alonso. And so
He-
can you.
He's the granddaddy of racing. He's like the guy who joins your team and shares tips with you.
Yeah, but he has done 3 generations of Schumacher. I think we owe this man some homage. He's done it all.
Absolutely, I don't disagree with that. But then, do you not remember defend like a lion? Ocon.
Yeah.
He was the teacher in the team. And you know what? In some cases, you do not even need to race with Lewis Hamilton to know that you're racing with a great driver. Alonso is a great driver. There is no disputing that.
Is-
Hang on. Walter on Alonso. Does he not have the triple crown? My guy has the triple crown.
Yeah, but you have to think. When, like, even now you say it, no one talks about it.
I am talking about it. This is it. It's happening now.
We are. But if I then, and again, this is the worst thing about racing is you're only as bad as your reputation. How many people actually sit there and go, oh my God, Alonso's got a triple crown? Apart from us, that we're racing fans, and people that are watching this, no one will sit there and go, Alonso. Because what they do is they go, he's the old man. Like, I keep referring to it. He's beat 3 generations of Schumacher, and one of them's on the bench. So if that useless one then comes into the mix, that'd be 4 generations of Schumachers that he's beat. That's bad.
Anyway, he's the future of the sport. Let's leave Alonso alone.
So Gazzy, where do you think Gazzy's gonna end up? I think they'll both resign. I genuinely think, like, I'm not gonna beat around the bush or something. They'll both resign.
I can't think of where Gasly would go, but he's definitely not happy there. I don't think he's happy there.
Well, he is now. Australia was a good race for him.
It's temporary though.
Ish.
Would you love to see? I would love to see Gasly in an Aston Martin.
No. Yeah,
I reckon. I think green looks good on him.
Just remember one thing: if you're gonna see Gasly in an Aston Martin, and we spoke about it in depth the other day. Let's say me and you had a blank checkbook to run our families through F1. Would you not support your own? Hence what Stroll will do. Stroll's on a rolling contract. That kid goes from race to race. All he needs to do is be great that race. and he has a seat. Do you think out of the 10 teams on the grid, they run it the same way? No. If put it this way, as someone that appreciates racing, if I had all the money in the world, the one thing I'd do is buy a team and pump my people in it. Why would I not? That's what Stroll Senior's done. He's bought a team and said, my son, no matter how crap he is, he will race for this team. You would do it as a father, and so would I. I will pump all the money into my kid being terrible in the sport because he's my kid or she's my kid. Like, you have to think of it that way. That's why that kid's got a seat. So if you think Gasly will go into that seat, where does Alonso then go?
Alonso retires.
He won't retire. And you know this.
I know, literally 30 seconds ago, I was saying he's the future of the sport. He might take the Ferrari seat. You see him going back to Ferrari?
No.
Well,
Nope.
in that
I
case,
think I know where
we
he'd
have
go.
a Mercedes. We've got a Mercedes seat available.
Yeah, but this is the problem with that Mercedes seat. So you've got the two Haas drivers. I genuinely think if Gasly was forced to move, Gasly will suit a Haas car because Haas used the Ferrari powertrain and it works better for his driving. Would you then move probably Albon into a Haas because the relationship will work well? I don't know. I'm speculating based on the last couple of races. Last year was an absolutely shit show, so we can put that over there. But if you think Albon and Gasly in the same team, good partnership, because on the face of it, you have a calm driver and an aggressive driver. But equally, you've got those two. Hulkenberg came back. You've watched racing enough to know of the curse of the Hulkenberg. The fact that that man is still in a car means we do not have enough drivers that are coming through the ranks.
I don't know.
How many
Everyone
times
is
did Rabbit
actually-
in? You're a Renault fan through and through. Well, for your day, for your automotive needs, as in for your cars. You support Renault, so you support Hulkenberg.
I choose to clear this up. I am not a Renault/Alpine fan. I just happen to like the drive of a Renault vehicle.
So do you drive their cars?
Absolutely. The last
Do you
four
own
cars
their
I've owned. The last 4 cars I've
No.
owned.
Do you own their cars?
Yes.
So you are a Renault fan.
Okay, let's move on.
No,
Let's
you
talk-
can't. You're not getting away. So if we move on, we both agree the Haas seats will be vacant and we don't know who will fill them. Because
I absolutely.
I can't see Magnussen filling another Haas seat.
Hulkenberg is not going anywhere, and he will be around for
Yeah, but he'll go to
maybe
Indy.
2 years. You go
He'll go
where?
to Indy. He'll go back to IndyCar.
You know what? Silly season has only just begun, and we will be here for a very long time. I think we can safely come back to this as the year goes. And
That's the last one the last 4 drives we're gonna touch on. They're the most important. I think Tsunoda will keep his seat, but now,
for other reasons, yes, Tsunoda will keep his seat.
and we know
Not-
what they are.
Not necessarily for the driving that he's doing on track, but we will choose to
Those reasons.
for those reasons.
Should we do this for those
Yeah.
reasons?
For those
ones.
reasons,
Yeah.
Tsunoda will be staying with the Visa direct debit cash point
Whatever they're
linking
called.
uh,
Those people.
those.
Ricardo's been, since his injury, I think Red Bull
They need to
run
shoot
such
him
a
down.
Yeah, I think he needs to pull something out of the bag. Whatever we've seen on the news, I don't think is happening behind the scenes. Genuinely, I think he's got the worst car out of the both of them because that same car has evolved through Tsunoda's career. So he's always going to have a natural liking to that car. Ricardo only came into that car last year when...
Still, I don't think Daniel Ricciardo is up for the job. He's not performing how he should be performing. When you look at the stats of how Liam Lawson, it is Lawson, right? Who was driving this car last year. When you look at the stats of how comparable he was to Yuki Tsunoda in the first 4 races last year, you will actually notice that Danny is actually doing a worse off job. Fair enough, the guy had 12 months out of a car, but this is where I hate Drive to Survive because they give you this impression
yes,
that hope of he is the Danny Ricciardo we remember at Red Bull. No, this is not the guy who was diving in swimming pools in Monaco. This is the guy that we actually saw drive for Renault, drive for McLaren, who is back, glorified, and we're actually seeing it. But you gotta love the honey badger.
So where do you think? I know where I want to see him, and you're gonna hate me for this. It's not a Red Bull.
He's not gonna be in a Red Bull car.
Yeah, but do you know what? The way who thought in our lifetime, and like I said, we've known each other too long now. Did you ever think Hamilton would end up in a Ferrari seat? No, neither did I.
Absolutely not. But
anything can happen. So I think
anything can absolutely happen.
However, Ricciardo's not going back to a Red Bull seat. Well, you've heard it here live and direct. That man, not this year anyway. He's not. He will not be in a Red Bull seat. Then you've got who's gonna? Do you know what? Certain days, I wish Ben was here. Who's gonna partner Mr. Woody, Toy Story, George Russell? Who's gonna partner him? Because I think he's the worst toxic driver out of them all. He cries about everything. When you actually watch him, team orders are team orders, and I get them. They're Ferrari. Like, I'm a Ferrari fan. Team orders means we both lose or no one's winning. That's how it works. I can't see. And the problem with Formula One is if you've been there a season or two longer, you then become the senior driver, don't you? Even if you've got more experience.
I am going to throw in a name that you are not even thinking about, a name that you haven't thought about throughout this whole silly season.
Go on.
Mick Schumacher standing on the side. Toto will not put him in this. But think about the controversy because Mick is looking at this seat right now thinking there is a glimmer of hope, but there isn't.
No. Well, hang on. Isn't Mick signed to Alpine at the moment?
No, he's a test driver for Mercedes.
No, he's a test driver for Alpine.
Really?
Yeah. He's part of the whatever 4-man team. No, like he might be a test driver for them on the side, but he's definitely signed to another Formula One team for another racing venture.
Oh well. Anyway, silly season is here.
Wait. You said out of all the drivers that we spoke about, you said that guy.
No, I didn't mean that he's gonna drive. I said he is standing on the sideline right now, thinking to himself,
so is Latifi.
His hope. Now you have actually just made me realize how silly that was.
Yeah, so is Latifi. And you know as well as I do, Latifi.
At this point, we might even throw in Nikita Mazepin in there whilst already.
I mean, when hell freezes over, yes, Nikita Mazepin, he will come back.
When I retire from Formula One, then they will get Nikita
driving from now. But like, this is our to round it up, and you're going to get more of these, and I'm curious what you think the top 3 will be.
Well, it's too soon to predict. Let's leave it closer.
Oh, come on.
closer to the race.
So let's base it on, as in for the next race. What's the top 3 for Suzuka? Because if history repeats itself, and this year is all about history repeating itself, we're in a dangerous position about what the top 3 is going to be. I said to you before the last race, I expect Mr. V to be on pole, and he was in quali. I also said to you, I expect him to carry on and win the race. To my shock, he didn't. Sainz, he's having a tough time. So I want you to tell me who. Let's play a fun game, and I'll find a way to get Ben to comment on what he thinks his top 3 will be. Qualifying, it's not a sprint race, is it?
No, it's not. I don't think so.
Qualifying, and who's going to end top 3. So give me your top 3 qualifying, in as in the end of qualifying, not throughout. So qualifying and the top 3. And to be fair, there might be some lover of tech magic we can do to add Ben just to give us his top 3, if that makes sense. You know what? We've got the guy for that. So qualifying and
the race itself. So
it doesn't matter which way you put it.
Max, Norris, and that tractor that they have as Mercedes is not going to be anywhere in the top 5.
Ignore the tractor. Be subjective.
I really want to say Alonso, but also that side of things, they really fucked up with their. Oh, they really messed up.
Thank you.
They really messed up with their development.
Since we were recording, I've been waiting for you to say that. Thank you. Can you say that again so Ben can hear it? Because I've texted Ben. He's gonna find his way into this, but someone has to say it.
Yeah, Aston Martin, I have no idea what they did with all the money that they have, but it did not go into developing that car. They do an upgrade sometime very soon, a big upgrade, but then it's a new car. It's only done 4 races. Why should we have a big upgrade? We should be doing the minor touches. But anyway, so
who's your third one?
Perez. I'm gonna have to go Perez. I'm gonna have to go
Perez.
Perez.
Quali, yeah?
Yeah.
So for me, I'm going to say, off the back of what happened last race, I'm going to say Sainz will pip Verstappen. So it'll be Sainz, Verstappen, and Leclerc. In that order. Based on one way less. And he had a good race. And he doesn't have a racing seat next year. There's more determination with that man than anyone else. So, Sainz to be pole for the race. Verstappen to want to redeliver what he missed out on, because there's stats we will touch on in a separate stream with all of us involved about how many people have done enough to make it make sense. So Sainz, Verstappen, and Leclerc. But I want to add a spanner in the mix. I think Alonso will be a close 4th.
What is he turning up on? One of his old go-karts?
No, he's going to turn up in the Mercedes Harvester. It will happen. Combined Harvester, sorry. Can't call it a Harvester because, you know, it's offensive to farmers. Combined Harvester.
Where will all the other Formula One drivers and cars be?
In the pit lane.
Okay. If everyone is in the pit lane and
Okay,
he's
race day. Go on. You're so confident. Race day. Go on. I'm
Ra-
so
race
race
day,
Go on.
because I am so confident that the Australia thing with Max was a blip.
It wasn't.
Race day, I'm genuinely just putting in Max for first. He's gonna continue from where he left off. Carlos, then Perez whilst he's on his way up the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Locked in. Where are you? Where are you sitting for race day?
Right. So I would say I'm going to be biased. I think Leclerc will be pole for the race day. I think all the internal struggles at Ferrari will lean towards him. So Leclerc, I'm going to say Perez second, and I want to say Lando third. And that's a big one. That's a big one for me to say. Like,
I worry
literally,
for you. I worry for
just
you.
it.
I have
No.
idea.
There's a reason. There's a reason. Leclerc first.
TC,
For me, he's
hang
my
on.
favorite driver.
TC, are you watching Formula One, the same one that I am watching, or you are watching on some
Sorry, your
analog?
favorite driver didn't make it to the last race. Your opinion, sir, does not count.
I would like at this point to refer you to the constructors' points for the year that we're currently in. So
Go on. I'm waiting.
you will notice that if you look at the constructors' points, it's actually Red Bull that is still actually leading. The fact that their car did not finish one race is insignificant.
Well, it's not, is it?
We actually got to rest our engine. Our power unit is well relaxed.
You didn't get to rest it. It broke.
Our power unit has only done 3 laps as far as anyone is concerned, because it's a new power unit.
Okay, let's take it somewhere where me and you both understand. Dynamos and Highlanders. Do you think Highlanders say to Dynamos, "Oh, today you won this one and this one worked"? No. Do you think it happens every way? No.
I know you probably think I know exactly what you're talking about, but football, I don't understand football.
Sorry, I don't have badminton terminology because I do not follow that crappy sport. Regardless,
Back to the 4-wheeled sport that we actually both follow.
so oh my god, you have issues.
No, I think I was dropped as a kid. I don't know, but I feel
No,
like
you
that's for therapy.
genuinely think that's how. Jesus, I'm so confused how I'm friends with you. You know what? I always question how I'm friends with Ben. I now realize
You are the problem.
As Cat Williams says, I have a natural allegiance to losers. You are the other loser.
You are the problem. You are the common denominator here. Think about it.
No,
Anyway.
no way,
Right.
no
so
way. But we've got predictions. I genuinely think, and we're gonna do this over quali, then we'll do it on race day. But I think for us, it's bigger than that, because this is the race that turned everything last year as fans, and for you especially, this is a race where Mr. Champion actually does some stuff.
right, we're gonna wrap it up before he continues to insult my team or myself.
Yeah.
So guys, it's been TK here with TC. Please do follow us on all platforms for Lover of Tech, Lover of Cars. Feel free to ask us any questions. If you think that anything that TC has said is out of line, bang, out of order, please do set him
Never
straight
out
in
of
the
line.
comment section. Do not think that he will respond with anything abusive. We're very nice and cuddly fellas.
I will definitely respond if anything abusive. Do you know what I'm going to do today? After this, I am going to buy a Ferrari t-shirt. I'm going to wear it every time me and you do this. I've already got the TC stuff. You're getting your... I'm going to wear my Ferrari t-shirt the whole season through, win or lose. I hope you keep the same energy, sir.
I get you're confident because you won the last race, but I do not think that's a good idea.
We won the last race for a driver that's potentially going to Mercedes. However, I'm going to wear it every race. Are you going to? I know you own the merchandise.
For Red Bull?
I challenge you to wear it every race.
I can wear it under my Lover of Cars hoodie.
No. I have to, like, look at me. Like, I'm not even wearing the Lover of Cars hoodie. And for those who are interested, we do have a merch store where you can buy Lover of Cars, Lover of Tech. You've got certain phrases that we'll pick out through certain videos that we'll superimpose at the back of the videos, t-shirts, the lot. So if you like what that guy is saying, I've already got mine. You still need to earn yours, and yours won't be Max Verstappen's going to win another championship, is it? So let's go with that. But TeeKay is going to get his own. We've got Lover of Cars ones that are coming through. TeeKay has officially announced that he'll be wearing his Red Bull hat through the rest of the season because he is who he is and he supports his team, and someone has to. I will be wearing my red shirt because I think Ferrari is going to win the season. However, thank you for listening. It's been brilliant. He's been
TeeKay.
And I've been TC. Follow, like, share for more F1 content and reactions like this.